This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast that takes a look at the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morse, and this week we recap a fourth straight State of Maine championship for the Bates men's indoor track and field team with junior thrower James Guinee. He tells us why winning the state title for the Bobcats is not just a goal, it's an expectation. Plus, a women's basketball first year had a breakout performance, and we talked to team captains from men's swimming and women's track and field. That's coming up on the Bates Bobcast. On Saturday, the men's indoor track and field team hosted and took first place out of 8 schools at the Maine State Meet, capturing the state championship for the 4th straight season. There were a lot of standout performances, including senior captain thrower Liam Byrne winning the Peter Goodrich Memorial Most Valuable Field Athlete Award. But it was the depth in the throws that really racked up the points for Bates. And junior James Guinee unleashed back-to-back new personal record throws in the shot put, with a top distance of 14.21 meters. And he is our male Bobcat of the week. Well, James, first time for you on the Bobcast. Welcome. And I just wanted to know, you're from a long line of Bobcats. For those who don't know, take us through your family's history with Bates.
Yeah, so my mom originally went here in the 80s. I think she graduated in 1980. And then my brother graduated high school in 2011, came here, played football for 4 years. My other brother, directly after him, graduated high school in 2015, came here. So there was about 8 straight years of growing up where I was just watching Bates football every Saturday in the fall.
And so for you, a different route to track and field and throwing. Take us through how you got involved with the sport, maybe in high school or earlier.
Yeah, so I actually tried football my freshman year in high school. Didn't really love it that much. I was going to stick with it until the winter season came along, and I did track. I did it again in the spring, and I love throwing, so I decided that, I was going to throw instead. There are different seasons, but I decided to play golf in high school instead of football. It's a little easier, a little more fun for me, frankly. It's free golf, can't complain.
Golf, okay, so how far can you drive it?
Not really that far. I think the best round I ever shot in high school, we played 9, was like a 38, which isn't, too bad, but nothing special really, because I had my mix of 50s and 60s there, but we won't talk about that.
So you got into throwing, and obviously, luckily for you, Bates is known for the throws program, so was it a no-brainer, really?
Well, honestly, I wasn't much of a, fantastic recruit out of high school. I think I had maybe one throw that was like 44 feet. Other than that, I was like 42, 41, 40, which isn't spectacular. But, I loved Coach Fresh. I loved the school. Unfortunately, Coach Fresh did leave, but, the legacy's still there. The great coaching. Coach Colleen has done, an exceptional job. And then, there's also the teammates that I have along the way. They're, extensions of that great legacy. So we're hoping to continue that into the future,
Yeah, and this year you've got a number of good throwers on the team. I was at the Maine State meet. I saw you have your big breakthrough there in the shot put. Take us through the breakthrough for you. For those who don't know, maybe even explain what was so special about those moments.
Yeah, so, my freshman year was kind of a wash because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But I started my sophomore year out pretty good, like a mid-13-meter throw, which is like 44 feet. Followed it up again with like an inch or two PR, the next meet. And this is in January of 2022. And then I don't PR until last weekend. So I think that's like 55, 54 weeks without a PR. So that was pretty tough. It's something I've done in practice, something I expected to do literally a year ago that I just did now. So I wasn't so much as excited about it, or it really wasn't that impressive of a throw, but it felt like a weight was just lifted off of my shoulders, finally reaching that like 14-meter mark that I've been looking for so long.
Terrific. And it was on back-to-back throws where PR then another PR, right?
Yeah, I think it was like a 30-centimeter PR got me to, or 40 centimeters got me like 13.95, which, why couldn't it be 14 meters there? I had big chest bumps with Liam Byrne, Jacob Goff. And Jacob Goff smashed my nose a little bit, so I think he was getting a little nervous there. But I was luckily able to, on my 6th and final throw, finally hit that 14-meter mark, which felt amazing.
And you had pretty much, it seemed like your whole family there watching, too. Is this one of the first times they've maybe gone to watch you in a track meet? Or?
Yeah, so that was actually the first time I've had, like, my full immediate family there. I'm the youngest of 5 and 2 parents, so there was, 6 of my immediate family members there, and then 2 of my cousins made the trip up, too.
Great. And so what was it like having them there like that?
I felt like having like my own little fan section, for better or worse. They were cheering some of my warm-up throws, which I wasn't a fan of. They got in my head a little bit, I'll say, but I powered through it.
Yeah. And then the team as a whole, obviously the men defended the state championship, 4th straight year you guys have won it, and so what does that mean to you to see everyone do so well, really, right?
Well, I think the Maine State Championship for us has become less of a goal and more of an expectation.
Fair enough.
We do well every year. The 2 years that I've been there and the one outdoor season so far. So it's become important to us. But it's great to just see the entire team just perform well, get their points, and get a lot of PRs, New England qualifiers.
And the 4x800 Blackout Relay to end it, you got to watch that and cheer on your teammates and stuff. What's it like to have that event to conclude it?
Oh, I mean, by that point of the meet, we're 6 or 7 hours in. My voice is already gone, but it's the first time I've been able to see it. Last year we were at Colby, and
right.
They have their brand new fancy facility, but they couldn't get the lights off. I don't know what's that say about Colby versus Bates. We know how to turn our lights off. Right. That's all I could say at the least.
You mentioned golf and burn. What's this group like of throwers this year?
Well, it's fantastic that we all push each other to do great. At the same time, we all want to beat each other, which doesn't always happen. Someone's got to be the best. Someone has to win every weekend. But that's a fantastic thing about it is you get beat one weekend and you take the next week to work as hard as you can to maybe beat them. And in the end, Liam Byrne will probably beat me in every single event we do together for my entire time here, but it's pushed me to be a lot better.
Yeah, certainly. And so, you have shot put and weight throw here in indoor. And then outdoor, you've got 3 possibilities. What's your favorite, perhaps?
So I've hated hammer.
You hated hammer. Okay.
Hated hammer the first 2 years. I got brutal PRs. No one go look them up, please. I'm starting to like that a bit more.
Yeah.
Shot put's pretty hit or miss, but I love discus. It's fun. Feels easy. It goes far for me. That's what's really fun about it is a far throw in the discus or hammer is a lot of fun because it actually goes far. A far shot put throw, it's like you see it land in half a second. It's not really that enjoyable.
Gotcha. And then Danny Collina, you touched on him. Obviously, his second year, I believe, as throws coach. And yes, so what's it like to have a dedicated throws coach like him?
Oh, it's fantastic. The guy spends probably, I don't even want to know how many hours a week coaching us. We have our morning one-on-one sessions at least twice a week for the most part. And then we have, sometimes 2-hour group practices with like an hour and a half lift after. So it's been really nice to have someone be this dedicated and, want to see us be this successful.
Great. And then, moving forward, kind of, have you qualified for New England's and stuff, or how's that going to go?
Yeah, so I qualified in the weight, I think, on my first throw at the first meet. In shot, I just qualified for it this past meet.
Okay. Yeah.
I had qualified it for the indoor season before and then, kind of choked outdoors, but we won't talk about that. So it's nice to kind of finally have, both qualifications for once.
So what are some goals you have maybe at New England's in terms of maybe the next step for you?
I'm not really sure what I want out of New England's placing-wise. Shot put, I'm happy with really anything I can get out there that's somewhat decent. But in the weight throw, me and Coach Collina were talking. My goal is to be at least over 17 meters and as close to 18 meters as I can be, which would be a significant jump, but that puts me into, like going to nationals territory. And it might not happen this year, but I'm pretty confident that it would happen next year. So that's really my long-term goal is to be able to go to nationals next indoor season.
So you're only a junior, so you've still got another full season here coming up.
Yeah, I still have some time. Discus I think is my primary event typically, so I'm hoping to do something good out in the outdoor season.
Terrific. Were you one of the people who was unable to go to NESCACs last year, or did you go?
Yeah, I was actually unable to go to NESCACs,
okay.
And then also we have our BU Valentine meet coming up this weekend. I wasn't able to go to that one last year because of COVID too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, kind of had
you
two
got hit
meets.
Twice. NESCACs obviously is a great potential to have a great showing, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's actually funny. Liam Byrne's going to be a senior. He's never had a NESCAC championship appearance, which is funny to think about. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. And I think same with Jacob Goff. He hasn't had a NESCAC performance either. So the three of us are really looking forward to finally reclaiming our spot as the top throwers in the NESCAC.
All right. Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share, perhaps on the past meet or anything we haven't got to talk about yet?
I'm just really pumped to see what happens in the future with the team, how we do at New England's, who gets to go to nationals, and I'm just looking forward to sending off our seniors, on the right foot.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for joining us on the Bobcast. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Aaron.
On the women's side, the Bobcats hosted and took second place out of 8 schools at the Maine State meet with a number of standout performances. Senior captain Joe Richardson won the mile run, sophomore Julia White won the 5K, and junior Alma Macic took first place in the weight throw. Meanwhile, senior captain Alice Cockerham turned in a personal record time in the 60 meters, racing to the finish in 8.25 seconds in the prelims, eventually taking third in the finals. Cockerham also helped the 4x200 relay place third, and she took fourth place in the 200 meters. And Alice Cockerham is our female Bobcat of the week. Happy to have Alice Cockerham with us here on the Bobcast, talking some women's track and field. And Alice, first of all, you're a senior captain this year, so what's the experience been like so far being one of the leaders of this team?
Well, it's been really smooth, I think. As a senior, I experienced the COVID shutdown my freshman year, and then sophomore year was really strange, and even last year was a little different with COVID, and this is the first normal year I've had since my freshman winter, so it's been really fun and smooth, and I've enjoyed it a lot, yeah.
And you're a sprinter for the Bobcats, so take us through how you first got involved in sprinting, growing up.
I first started in high school. I actually, I'm from Maine, but we didn't have a track, and so we ran on the dirt, and then I also didn't have indoor track. I skied, so coming to Bates was my first time running indoor track. But yeah, I ran track for 4 years, outdoor track for 4 years in high school, and I loved it, and I wanted to do it here, so I walked on as a freshman, and yeah.
I know you were one of 3 of our Mainers who was featured in the Sun Journal before the season, and so what was it like kind of, growing up in Maine, and did you think, I'd be going to Bates someday, or is that not on your radar until later, perhaps?
Bates was the first school I toured my freshman year of high school, and it was my top choice all 4 years, so I actually definitely saw myself here, and I was excited when I got in and was able to run here as well.
And what's it like, having, fellow Mainers, like Jill Richardson and a few other folks as well, on this team with you?
It's awesome. I love Jill. And Corinne, she grew up, in the town next to me, so we ski raced against each other, and I had known her, but now, being teammates, it's really cool to have other people kind of from the same area that I am.
Now, this past weekend, you had a PR in the 60 meters. You keep chipping away kind of at that time, right? So what's that like, working on that event in particular? Because you mentioned no indoor in high school, so 60 meters probably new when you got to college, right?
Yeah, 60 meters, it's a new race for me. It's not my favorite race, just because it's so fast, and it's really hard to improve in it and PR because it's just so short, and it's by tenths of a second. But yeah, it feels good. I run the fastest at home, so the times I have PR'd have been here, which is really exciting. But yeah, I like the 60. I'm excited for outdoor, but yeah.
Sure. Well, and for the seniors, this was your last home indoor meet, right? Mm-hmm. So what was that kind of like to have that senior class? You haven't had too many of these, I suppose, but it was your last one, right?
Yeah, I think this is my third maybe ever, and my last, so it's kind of weird. It's a little bit sentimental and bittersweet, but I don't know, it's fun being here, and we don't get a lot of track meets, so even just having one here is really nice, but we've had 2 this season, which is really cool. So yeah. And you mentioned outdoors. Is that your preferred season, sort of, it sounds like? I like outdoor because I am more familiar with the events, but the one thing I like about indoor is that it's warm. Yes. Outdoor is very cold, but yeah. Well, you were part of the 4x200 relay, right? I know people often talk about how relays are really their favorite events. Is that the case for you also? Yeah, the 4x2 is my favorite event, and it's so fun. I do the 4x1 and outdoor, but it's not the same. The 4x2 feels like you're actually racing people, and I got to run it with my friend Megan Lacey, who's a jumper who doesn't run, and that was really fun to be able to hand off to her. Oh, so she normally doesn't participate in relays, and then... She participates in the 4x1 sometimes in outdoor, but she's never run a 200, and so it was her first time this meet as a senior, so that was fun. Were you giving her any tips beforehand or anything? No. Well, no, she was good. And then, you mentioned she being a jumper. What's it like, watching, after you're done with your events, watching your teammates compete also? I mean, that's another reason why I like indoor so much, is because everyone's so close, and there's always something going on. So, as soon as I finish a race, my friends are probably doing something else. And so, it's just constantly getting to support my friends, and they support me, and yeah, it's awesome. It's a good environment. Anything stand out there at the Maine State meet in terms of what your teammates were able to do? Yeah, my friend Abby, who's also a senior captain, she did really well, and she PR'd in the long jump, I'm pretty sure. And the shot put, too. Yeah, she's awesome. But, yeah, so she stood out. There's a sophomore on the team, Julia Brophy, who also ran really well in the 400. I think we had a few good milers, too. Jill obviously ran really well.
Well, as a sprinter, you don't compete in cross country in the fall.
No.
Do you go to some of those events, though, also?
Yeah, we were able to go to the Bowdoin meet, and which was, I think, the regional national qualifier. So we got to go and support them there, and then we also got to support them at Pineland once. So I think we, as a women's team, saw them race twice.
Do you ever imagine yourself ever doing cross-country running?
No. I couldn't, no.
'Cause I know you did Nordic skiing in high school, which some people would say is like the winter version of cross-country.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think I could have done that here. Yeah. High school was enough.
Yeah, for sure. And then, well, as a senior, what are you studying? Like, I know everyone's working on a thesis now and stuff like that. How's that been going for you?
Good. I'm a double major, so my thesis has been a year long, which has been nice in a way, but also kind of tough. Just balancing like academics and sports and then trying to figure out what I'm going to do after college. But it's been good. Yeah, it's been a good senior year.
What's your double major?
Anthropology and religious studies.
Okay, so what's your thesis focusing on?
My thesis is on COVID-19 and the apocalypse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I need more details about what this, what that means.
It's about how Christian religious identity kind of informs like your opinion on the pandemic and specifically the COVID pandemic.
Interesting. Okay, and some people saw it as a sign of the apocalypse. Is that basically what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And who's advising you on that?
Cynthia Baker.
Okay.
And Jen Hughes.
Gotcha. And what do you kind of learn from them, sort of?
I've had multiple classes with them. I really like them as professors. They're so smart and they know so much, and so I feel like I kind of take all the feedback that I can, and they're making me a better writer and a better student. So I've liked working under them.
Awesome. So what are some goals you have maybe going forward, in your senior year? I don't know if you're looking at times or just internal team goals kind of going forward, indoor and then into outdoor also.
Yeah, well, I really want to qualify for D3s. The D3 meet is during February break, and I'm currently a tenth of a second away from qualifying.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so every race that's my goal, is to shave that tenth of a second off.
60?
The 200.
The 200 is what you're looking to qualify in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 60, I think I'm also a tenth of a second, but that's a little bit harder in a 60-meter race.
Sure. So 200 is the one you're really focused on.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So when do you compete next? I know they have the Valentine Invitational this weekend, then there's the Bowdoin one after that.
Yeah, I'm racing in the Valentine meet this Friday in the 200. And then I think at Bowdoin I'll race in the 60 and the 200 again, just for one more shot.
Because BU's, that's a good track to run on, right?
Yeah, it's a banked track.
Yeah.
It's really fast.
Gotcha. So this could be the big weekend for you to qualify for D3.
It could be. I hope so.
Have you been before?
I go for relays.
Okay.
I've gone for relays.
Yeah.
But I've never qualified individually, and so I really want to qualify.
Gotcha. Tenth of a second away. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out. Alice, thank you so much for joining us on the Bobcast. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
The men's swimming and diving team finished second at the CBB meet Saturday, outscoring Bowdoin and coming up just short against Colby. Senior captain Nathan Barry won the 100-yard backstroke and the 50-yard freestyle. And he joins the Bobcast to tell us how the meet came down to the final relay and what the near future holds for the Bobcats.
CBB, come on, it's going to be electric between Bates, Bowdoin, and Colby. It is every year. And, at the end of the day, we didn't come out with the win, but that's not really the most important thing from that meet. We swam so fast. We had 3 guys go lifetime best in their events because, they were tapering for CBB to end their season there. At the end of the meet, actually, when we were on the bus, Coach said, "Hey, everyone on the bus here, raise your hand if you went a best time." And 15 people raised their hands. So we swam so fast, and just down to the wire. I mean, at that last relay, the 200 free relay, Colby swam the 5th fastest 200 free relay in the entire country for the whole year.
Yeah.
And that's what it took to touch us out. So, there's so many little things that if they were a little bit different, we would come out on top. So that's not really what we're worried about. Like, our diver, Connor, is abroad right now. If we had him at that meet, that's 8 points. Like, we would have won. Like,
right.
we lost the first relay by like 0.04 of a second. Like, there's so many things that could, so, it's a little disappointing to not come out with a win, but really, like, it's a great indicator for how fast we are right now that we did so well at that meet.
Yeah, well, let's talk about relays, because obviously for the men's team, that's the big goal, because last year you guys were so close to getting relay to nationals. Where you stand right now with NESCACs on the horizon, sort of, right?
Yeah. Our relays are looking real fast. It's always hard to tell if something's going to make nationals, because it depends on how fast everyone else is swimming, obviously. So our 200 free relay especially is looking really fast. I don't think we quite broke the record at CBB, but we got like really close. 2 weeks out from a full taper and shave and good suits and everything. We got, Max Corey, absolute dog in the 50 free.
He's been great.
Nate Summers has joined the relay this year. He dropped like a 20.7. So I think we're looking real good for that one. We got some nice freshmen coming up too, Max Corey obviously, and Maric Samardovich is our breaststroker for the 2 medley this year. I think they're going to be really good. We got a good shot at going second or third or fourth in some of these relays at NESCACs. Whether that'll be good enough to get to nationals, hopefully. I think we're thinking about time trialing maybe the 2 medley. And, we'll see what happens. Everything's so unexpected, but I think we're going to be looking good.
So when I talked to the women for their CBB meet, they suited up in like their fast suits. Did you guys do that or no?
Yeah, we used old suits, most of us. Obviously, the 3 people who were tapering, Mark Southern, Tom White, and Bobby Munson, they all put on their really fast suits. They shaved down. They did everything possible, and it paid off for them. They swam real fast. The rest of us, we put on, tech suits, but they were old, so they weren't like our newest ones, freshest. We saved those for NESCACs.
Gotcha. Okay, great. And then, so what's the process now between now and NESCACs? So the women compete this weekend, but you guys have the weekend off, right?
Well, we have the weekend off from a meet, so we'll be coming into practice on those days that the women are gone. Sure. Just led by captains and led by Jae-Woo Kim and Cooper Burkhoff. Shout out those two. They had to end their season early, unfortunately, due to medical reasons. So they have been just immensely supportive from on deck. They're going to be there. They're going to be leading the practices, hyping us up and everything. So they're going to be right there. So we're at this point, it's just down and dirty. Focus on what's ahead of us. Don't get distracted by anything else. Drink lots of water. Get lots of sleep. Do all the warm down. Do all the things right in practice. Prepare. Get your mindset ready. And at the end of the day, it's going to go well. And you just have to believe that. You just have to believe everything's going to turn out well. If anything goes wrong in practice, don't fret about it. It's in 2 weeks. Yeah. It's happening.
And NESCACs are a great opportunity for a lot of the team to really contribute, right? Because it goes pretty deep in terms of who can score.
Yes, for sure. And we have a really deep team this year as well. I mean, those 3 guys, Mark, Bobby, and Tom, would be on the verge of scoring at NESCAC. So it's not like we're bringing 24 guys who are, 10 of them are going to score. Like, we want everyone to score, and we think everyone has a really good shot to. And that's where I think we can, do some damage to these other teams that are, they have a few elite people, but, what does the rest of their team look like? We've got 24 really solid guys coming to this meet. And, not only are they really fast, but they're really supportive. They've got great team atmosphere. They are excellent ambassadors for the sport. They're really respectful people to be around on campus, intelligent. Our men's team GPA was 3.63 this past semester. We're not just good swimmers. We're not just fast in the pool. It's like good people, and I'm really proud to be a part of the team, and I'm proud of everything that everyone has done this year.
Awesome. Well, we talked about the relays and where those kind of stand. What about your individual events? Where are you at with those in terms of the goals you have, moving forward here?
Yeah, I'll probably be doing about the same events that I have been, 50 free, 100 back, 100 free. Coach is maybe half joking about putting me in the 50 fly. I'm not sure about whether that's going to happen or not.
55. You ever even swam the fly?
Not in a meet, really.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty much going to be 50, 100, 100.
Yeah.
I do have some goals for that. Obviously, I'd like to make it back to nationals individually. As part of relay would be even better.
Yeah.
I also have individual time goals, but I like to not tell those to anybody. Not even coaches, not even any of my friends, my roommates. I think when the roster people asked me at the beginning of the year, "What are your goals?" I was like, get faster.
Right.
So like I have times in my head, but I like the external pressure, right? Of like I don't want anyone else to know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So if I don't make it, it's not like crushing for everyone and disappointment and everything.
Well, it's funny because you're already a school record holder in so many of these events, right?
Yeah. Always want to get faster.
Yeah.
Never want to just junior year was great.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like I want senior, like I wanted to go out with a bang and make it count, make it a good year.
Great. Well, any other thoughts you want to share on the CBB meet or the season so far we haven't got to talk about, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm ever going to be on the Bobcast again, so I want to take this time to really say thank you to you, Aaron, for having me on this, over the years, and to everybody on the team, and to Bates. And this has just been overwhelmingly positive experience, and I'm very proud of where we are, where we're going, and I'm spending this last year not focusing so much on the personal glory of trying to, get super fast times. I'm focusing on trying to give back to the next generation. How can I make Bates better in 10 years when I'm not here? I hope I've done a good job of that, and I hope you guys will continue to push the legacy forward and keep Bates Swim and Dive great.
Well, if the relay gets to nationals, we're going to get a relay on this Bobcast, so hopefully you're part of that. So.
Hopefully.
All right, well, I don't think this is the last one, but Nathan, thanks so much for joining us on the Bobcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
The women's basketball team fell at Bowdoin on Friday, but bounced back to defeat Colby in NESCAC action Saturday by a score of 68-55. Then on Monday, Bates won its second straight game, defeating Southern Maine 68-56. First year, Ava James had a breakout performance against the Huskies, scoring a career-high 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting. Well, Ava, first time on the Bobcast, just give us an idea from Maryland, right? So,
yes.
Growing up, what first got you into, playing sports kind of in general, perhaps, and maybe basketball specifically also?
Yeah, I mean, my dad signed me up for sports really young. I played soccer and basketball basically my whole life. Yeah, it's basically all it was. My dad signed me up, and I just went along with it. Fell in love with them.
Yeah, sure. What about basketball maybe in particular do you enjoy the most?
Yeah, well, my great uncle kind of introduced me to basketball. He started playing with me when I was really young, and yeah, I just went from there. It's really fun.
And then when you're kind of looking for colleges, what got Bates on your radar, sort of?
I mean, a lot of people from my high school and area go to NESCAC schools for sports, and I know a bunch of them, and they've all had great experiences, so it's always just been on my radar, NESCAC schools, and yeah, pieces fell into place.
How'd you connect with Allison?
Just emails, reaching out, like sending film and stuff, and then I came to camp my junior year, and yeah, that's where we met.
And so senior year, when you're in high school, Bates is making this run into the NCAA tournament. How closely are you following it?
No, yeah, it was really cool. I mean, my parents would always have the games on the TV and watch together, and it was a lot of fun. I ended up getting to go to their NCAA game against Roger Williams where Roy hit that shot, so that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, had you been to some Bates games in person before, or was that your first one in person?
That was my first one in person,
okay,
so that was really cool to see.
Quite the intro,
it's like,
right?
Good choice.
Exactly. And so this year, obviously, we're talking on Tuesday. Yesterday against Southern Maine, you got some of your most extended minutes, 13 points, a career high. What have you been working on to try to, earn those minutes to get in the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my role has been just to work as hard as I can at practice, help everyone, the team get better, and my shot's been falling recently, and people were finding me yesterday, and they were falling yesterday, so.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, how would you describe your game? What you kind of bring to the table, sort of?
I think mostly what I bring is speed. I try and run a lot in transition. I think defensively, I'm just there more defensively, I'd say, but I think my speed and defense is what really is my strengths.
Speed and defense,
yeah.
Gotcha. So you're working on your shot, seems like, also?
Yeah, definitely whenever I can, I try and work on my shot.
And your teammate, who's a sophomore, Alexandra Long, A. Rose, it seems like her shot's starting to fall a little bit, right?
Sure.
Because she was a first year last year who got more minutes later on the year. How have you seen do you see yourself mirroring her a little bit in terms of that development?
Yeah, definitely. She's a great role model person to look up to, and her shots have definitely been falling recently, and so giving me more confidence to shoot also, I guess.
And then you have some big games this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Trinity
definitely.
Friday and Wesleyan on Saturday. Trinity's obviously nationally ranked. What are your thoughts on these games coming up?
I mean, I think we have what it takes. We're a great team, and just need to bring it. We can definitely beat them.
Yeah, what are some points of emphasis maybe in practice these last couple of weeks have you noticed?
I think recently we've been working a lot on our shooting and our just going over plays and our zone plays, stuff like that, just so we're prepared for teams, whatever they throw at us, we know what to do.
Certainly. I wanted to go back to your first Bates game that you attended, the one against Roger Williams NCAA tournament. I mean, what were you you'd seen them on the television before, watching on the web feed, obviously, but what was the experience kind of like to see them in person and thinking, I'm going to be playing there next year?
No, yeah, it was definitely surreal just being there, seeing like all of them in person. Yeah, I mean, it was just really cool to think about how I'm going to be there next year with them on the court, and yeah, it was really cool.
How much of a chance did you get to talk to like the current student athletes when you were in high school, in terms of like preparing or even over the summer before you came here?
I talked to them a little bit, but I really met all of them at camp the summer before school started, and yeah, it's really where I got to know everyone.
So what's it been like joining this team that, has a number of people coming back from last year, but also a pretty good first-year class, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think it's been really cool. The seniors are great. They're great role models. It's been really fun to play with Meg, especially. Yeah, it's a great team environment to be around, and I love it.
Yeah, to see her become the all-time leading scorer, I could tell on the clip that the bench knew when it happened, right?
Yeah.
So what was everyone talking about kind of?
Well, I was kind of like counting her points,
Yeah.
and I knew Mike was like keeping track of them too. So he was like, she tied it, and we were like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so I don't even think she knew that her next basket was going to break the record, but we all knew it. So the bench got really loud for her on that one.
Yeah, certainly. And then I guess any other thoughts you wanted to share kind of on your rookie season as a Bobcat we have you going to talk about perhaps?
It's just been a great experience so far, and we're going to pull out these wins this weekend and going to do great in the tournament.
Absolutely. Well, of course, last year, as Bates showed, you can get in the tournament and anything can happen. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, Ava. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Bobcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
On Friday, Steph Baxter became the 35th player in Bates men's basketball history to reach the 1,000-point plateau during a game where he scored a team-high 19 points in a close loss to Bowdoin. The Bates men's basketball team fell to Colby the following day and will look to bounce back this Friday and Saturday when they visit Trinity and Wesleyan, respectively. Elsewhere, junior Bo Underhill took 12th in the slalom to pace the Alpine skiing team at the St. Michael's Carnival, while the Nordic team had the week off. Both ski teams are back in action this week at the Harvard Carnival. Find the complete schedule and all the latest Bates athletics news at GoBatesBobcats.com. And we'll catch you next time on the Bates Bobcast.